Next two slides, we do quick and then Doug can comment. First, the electorate in 2024 was 6% less Democratic than compared to 4 years ago. Is that historically, is that kind of shift in one cycle significant or unusual?
Well, the shift is significant, but more important than anything else is I can't remember the last time that people who voted on election day, the majority, a plurality of them were Democrats. It shows a real erosion for the Democratic Party, as I showed earlier. Showed you earlier on the 6 million people who voted. The gap between the Harris vote compared to Biden, those were disproportionate Democrats who didn't show up
Right.
on the polls.
Right. Okay. Next two slides. Also, problems for Democrats. Lowest net favorable rating since the 90s. What do you think's driving that? Why are Democrats so relatively unpopular?
Well, I mean, it's because I think there was a perception that we as a party drove we had the worst inflation in America since the early 1980s. I think people basically everything on election day was on average 20% higher than when Biden took office. And so I think it was economic, and I think that there was a concern that people, for their own personal safety and security, and I think the immigration issue was sort of both a real problem for Democrats, but also was a proxy for just a general sense that there was a lawlessness with the Democratic administration and these big cities around America that were largely governed by Democrats. And lastly, though, a sense that Democrats were cultural elites on how they talked, issues they cared about, all the DEI programs. And so essentially, I think the vast majority, a lot of people in America in the middle of the country thought Democrats were looking down on them.
Yeah.
And they weren't competent to govern.
Hey, want to be part of the two-way community all the time? Hit the subscribe button. Great video clips like this, plus conversations like no other, full episodes and more, always available on this channel. You got to hit subscribe to never miss a thing.